Hi, my name is ColdBeer, and let's start with Star Wars Battlefront 2. Almost 90% of positive reviews left by tens of thousands of players is definitely proof that the game is done right, and I can confirm that. I played the game for several hours and I had a lot of fun. So this edition sold on Steam is called Celebration Edition, and along with the base game it includes all past and future updates and many other cosmetic things you don't really care to hear about if you never play the game. So here up to 40 players fight in massive battles, pilot huge array of vehicles, and can even participate in space combat. Also, one thing that is really uncommon for any game released by Electronic Arts is the ability to train offline. You can do that, and only with your new knowledge you can start, dying in real-time multiplayer battles. Yeah, dude, don't expect to be thrown into combat with noobs like you. Everyone will have more experience than you do, but you have to collect your strength and show them who's the boss.
Probably not you.
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. In this third-person action-adventure game you will play as Star-Lord, and thanks to your bold yet questionable leadership you have persuaded an oddball crew of unlikely heroes to join you. Some jerk, surely not you, has set off a chain of catastrophic events, and only you can hold the unpredictable Guardians together long enough to fight off total interplanetary meltdown. For this you will have to use element blasters, tag team beatdowns, jet boot powered dropkicks, even put pineapple into potato salad. Nothing is off limits. Well, I'm kidding. The last thing surely is. That is a jail time guaranteed, and if you think it's all going to plan, you will be in for a world of surprises, with the consequences of your actions guaranteed to keep the Guardians on their toes. The game is one of the most beloved Marvel Universe games, with positive reviews hovering way above 90%. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. Let me start with the fact that this is an incredible game inspired by the Elder Scrolls franchise, and especially Morrowind. You will find an impressive open world, and with the newest patch a whole new region was added, along with it additional 10 to 15 hours of brand new gameplay. And of course I tried the new content as well. I'm a huge fan of first-person RPGs. I played as a mage and I really enjoyed it. The spells I casted looked and felt really good. That's because developers added a few tricks that make you actually feel the impact of your spells. Time slightly slows and the sound effect is awesome as well. Although I made a hero that was a glass cannon. In other words, if anyone even slightly touched me, even with a tip of a dick, I died. But I don't know, I have liked this type of build since my ancient days playing World of Warcraft, where as a sneaky glass cannon warlock I had so much fun in the battlegrounds. Keep in mind that The Fall of Avalon is not a AAA kind of game, more like a very ambitious indie project. Like Outer Wilds for example, indie but awesome. Bethesda is not the only one who can make these kind of games anymore. The Fall of Avalon is getting better and better with every patch. They are slowly brewing a masterpiece, that's for sure. I especially like it because of its beautiful dark fantasy world, really grim and eerie. It's like someone crossbred Elden Ring and Morrowind, and if you like that as well, there is no way you can ignore it. UBOAT. This is a simulator of a submarine from the Second World War era, yet it is different from other more action-oriented games. UBOAT is a survival sandbox with crew management mechanics, while its primary theme is life of German sailors. The boat is their home, but it can become their grave at any time. The game is influenced by Fallout Shelter, XCOM, and also the movie Das Boot. They even use the same decals for the submarine as seen in the movie. So here you will have to control the crew in order to control your boat. You will look after their mental and physical health, make sure the sailors won't become angry or tired. If their spirit is low, there is a chance of whining, bad morale, and even a skirmish. So as real Germans back then would say,
yeah, so take care of them and make Hitler proud, ja, by sinking those ships of capitalist America, ja, Bier mit Sauerkraut, ja, wunderbar.
Vampyr.
Guess, who are you going to be in this game? A doctor, and I am not even joking. Of course, you will be a vampire here as well. These are difficult times, no one can survive having only one profession. You are not that evil here, but you can choose to kill or rather devour good people and get stronger in the process. You will have to fight against vampire hunters, undead and other supernatural creatures with your own supernatural abilities. People on Steam really enjoy this game's atmosphere, music and voice acting as well. The only thing the game lacks is the freedom. Well, they provide you with many choices, but when you think about it, they don't really matter that much. Songs of Conquest. This game is as close to Heroes of Might and Magic 3 as it can get, but it doesn't have town screens. Instead of that, you will build your town like in casual strategy games, on the ground on the world tier. That kinda kills the mood, but everything else is by the book. It is a truly honest clone made in pixel art style, although even if you like the art style, like I do, sometimes you want to zoom in so you could look at the creatures and their features, but then you realize that you just zoomed in on a bunch of colored squares, and you can't even tell where the head or a butt is anymore, so no zooming here, adore the visuals from afar. And you have to admit, what a beautiful game this is, I seriously want to eat it, or at least put it as an ingredient into my potato salad. Music is also amazing, like a honey to our ears, and the campaign is wonderfully written. You really care about your heroes and the fate of this land. And when you finish everything, you can enjoy Map Editor and create more of this game for yourself, or just download tons of content created by way more talented people than you are. No offense, I do the same. EVERSPACE 2. This is a fast-paced, single-player space shooter. You'll explore a world ravaged by war. A massive handcrafted area is packed with secrets, puzzles, and perils to encounter. Also, the game is looter-shooter, so every enemy you slay will give you something nice. Here you are a clone pilot seeking your place in the universe. The events of your past tangles with clashing factions as the world around approaches a boiling point. You will have to escape colonial capture, navigate the intrigues of local warlords, evade energy-maddened cultists, and fend off war-hungry aliens. Yeah, those bastards want to rule the part of the galaxy you live in, so you will discover alien species, unveil mysteries, find hidden treasures, and defend your cargo against outlaw gangs. The campaign spans for 30 hours, a very nice amount for a single-player game. But this is just a tip of a dick. Completionists can dive deep into the EverSpace universe and spend more than 90 hours to complete every side mission, finish every challenge, and discover every hidden secret. So if you really like the game, it will give you more challenges as well. People who play the game are agreeing on one thing. This game has no BS, it actually feels like video game where you have to control a spaceship and shoot things down. Also, it has RPG elements and great customization options. Coral Island. Here you will leave the big city life and business in Tokyo Metropolis and start a new life on Coral Island. Sounds like a thing most of us would want in reality, until you realize that farms like that are smelly and filled with creepy crawlers everywhere you look. Nearby grocery store is 20 kilometers away and your toilet is clogged beyond repair until the Monday, because the plumber is drinking vodka and the only thing he can fix right now is his soberness. So let us enjoy games like that through the safety glass of our monitors, without all the smell and spiders. So here you'll create the idyllic farm of your dreams, where you will tend crops, nurture animals, and build a bond with the natural world around you. You will revitalize the nearby town and its surrounding coral reefs, and forge relationships with a community of more than 70 fellow people who call Coral Island home. The game has very positive reviews on Steam and is probably one of the best things you can try if you like farming and life sim games. Farthest Frontier. This is a city builder survival colony sim from the creators of Grim Dawn. So here, as always, you'll have to protect and guide your small band of settlers to forge a glorious ColdBeeristan from untamed wilderness at the edge of the known world. You'll harvest raw materials, hunt, fish and farm to sustain your advancing town. Also produce crafted items for villagers to trade, consume, equip and fight with, as you battle for your survival against the elements and outside threats. The game will also test your management side. Here you'll harvest 14 different materials, grow 17 types of food, and construct 50 types of buildings. An overkill? I don't know, it seems so, but the review score on Steam is very positive, so who am I to judge? Rustler. As developers say, they took the inspiration for the Rustler from the Monty Python and first two GTA games and made a medieval game out of that. I can remember playing the first part of GTA for hours and hours and skipping school because of it. Never regretted that. Anyway, the Rustler is a humorous approach to the medieval genre. You'll find stuff such as no parking zones for your horse and police horses that have flashing red and blue lights on them. Game is set in an open world and you play as the guy, whose parents apparently were too lazy to give him a proper name. You'll experience feudal justice, inquisition, witch hunting, and join the grand tournament. Meet incredibly stupid knights, complete a wide variety of twisted missions and quests, or ignore the plot and bring mayhem in the villages and cities. Choose to go on foot or buy a stolen horse, fight with a sword, or pick fancy automatic crossbow. All that spiced up with a Monty Python-inspired sense of humor, and you can burn down the whole village as well. House of the Dying Sun. This is a tactical space shooter that puts you in the cockpit of the Empire's most deadly interceptor and in command of the Harbinger fleet. You will hunt down the enemies of your dying empire and upgrade your warships with new weapons and abilities earned during your campaign of terror. Well, it seems that you are a bad guy here. Anyway, gamers are praising amazing sound design, exciting combat and great visuals. The only bad thing is that the game is super short. Still, longer than your ding-dong. Jokes aside, for you to beat it, it will take less than 4 hours. Although by reading comments on Steam I saw guys who have from 10 to 40 hours of gameplay on record, meaning that the game, at least for some of us, has great replayability. Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered. Here you will take on the role of Peter Parker, who is fighting big crime and iconic villains in New York City. At the same time, he is struggling to balance his chaotic personal life and career, while the fate of the town rests upon his shoulders. Yeah, this Spider-Man has some experience, he's not a newbie by no means. After 8 years behind the mask, Peter Parker is a crime-fighting master. So here you will feel the full power of a more experienced Spider-Man, with improvisational combat, dynamic acrobatics, fluid urban travel mechanics and environmental interactions. You'll swing through vibrant neighborhoods and catch great views of iconic Marvel and Manhattan landmarks. Also, you will have to use the environment around you to defeat murderous villains. And you don't want any murders in your town. Well, except those who die in the process of you fighting the villain. Those are acceptable losses, and nobody will ever miss those people. Everyone knows that. Game has an overwhelmingly positive review score and is a true gem for every Spider-Man fan. IXION. Propelled onwards through a perilous journey, you are the administrator of the mighty space station, charged with finding a new home for humanity. Keeping the station sound and flying will require a firm hand and strategic thinking. You are constantly pulled between maintaining hull integrity, bringing in new resources, and managing power consumption. What choices will you make when confronted with impending disaster? What will you discover out there in the dark? Probably nothing good. We all know that Borg is somewhere out there. Honey, I joined a cult. The title is a bit misleading because here you won't be joining a cult, you will be the boss of it. So let's go and create our own religion and become respectful cult leaders. In the process, make some real good money and exploit others by imposing our own will on various dimwits. Here, as everywhere else, effective management is at the heart of every money-making enterprise, and your organization is no exception. Dressing in snappy robes isn't enough, your cult must run like a well-oiled hypnotic wheel. People on Steam are talking that this is a great game to relax and play for an hour or so once in a while. So if you like management games, it may be your spoon of potato salad, but don't expect miracles. It's an entertaining game, not an actual cult simulator. You won't be actually learning how to scam people with imaginary friends. Anyway, 8 out of 10 people are happy with the game, so there is a chance that you will like it as well. Hard West 2. You are a notorious outlaw with a dangerous reputation. On the hunt for a big score, you hear talk that a ghost train filled with federal gold is heading your way. So you swiftly assemble some cool people with cool guns and a few of them with even cooler supernatural powers. Sounds cool, huh? Well, the train is called Ghost Train for a reason. No spoilers though. It is a non-linear turn-based strategy game that is filled with puzzles to the brim. Instead of a traditional level-up system, the game relies on acquiring equipment and cards. So you build a poker hand to power up your team members. Hard West 2 has several difficulty levels, up to 6 team members and many other cool features, but voice acting isn't too great. Also, the game isn't optimized very well, so the game score on Steam always fluctuates between mostly and very positive. Deep Sky Derelicts. It is an original combination of turn-based strategy and RPG enriched with tactical card combat and roguelike elements. Here you'll explore derelict alien ships, fight, loot and upgrade your gear, and all that is presented in a distinctive retro-futuristic comic book aesthetic style. I think that the comic style of the game is absolutely awesome, and as a fan of horror sci-fi comics, I melted in my place like a snowman in between hot boobies. People on Steam are saying that this is a really decent dungeon crawler with incredibly cool combat style. The game will take about 20 hours to beat, so it can be a nice investment into your upcoming leisure time. The Eternal Cylinder. You know how we are always whining about all the games being the same? All the games copy other games, and then some copies become even more popular than the originals, and then everyone is copying the copies until the cycle repeats itself. Yeah, that's not the case with the Eternal Cylinder. I doubt that I have seen anything like this. The game is obviously inspired by some crazy artist or made by one, so he will control this cute creature and wander around with various tasks. But the true meaning of this game lies in its name. An enormous rolling cylinder is approaching, and you, along with everything around, are its pizza dough. It is a mobile megastructure of unknown origin. It has destroyed and absorbed countless civilizations over the billions of years of its existence, and will do the same to you and your land. It can be delayed, but it has never been truly stopped.
Well, maybe bigger being can stop it.
What do you mean by bigger being?
I'm talking about your mama.
Oh, shut up. So I guess if you fail, everyone will die. Game has very positive reviews and it's really underrated. Also, the soundtrack is free to download. That is not what you see every day in this greedy world, that's for sure. The Deadly Tower of Monsters. The game treats itself as a 1970s movie. That is not a joke, that is the whole concept of the game. It is filled with classic themes such as the daughter versus tyrant father, the planet full of innocent ape creatures, the dashing space-age liberator, the robot companion, or the tower full of treacherous mutations. As developers say, a timeless classic for all ages. So in general, this is an action-adventure sci-fi comedy game with dynamic narration set in a retro-futuristic environment. You can play it alone or together with your friends or mother-in-law on a shared or split screen. Game has full controller support and, honestly, full support of your poverty, because the price is more than friendly. The Witness. I hate this game. The Witness is for smart people with great memory, and I'm none of these people. And although I like puzzles and all that, but by playing Witness I realize that I'm way dumber than I imagined. So if you like to test your memory and IQ, this is a great title for you. Just keep in mind that the results can be a bit disappointing. The game itself is set in a beautiful open-world island where you have to crack all the riddles to unveil a terrible secret. If you are not some puzzle maniac, you will never get there. But at least the game will show you your limits. Last Train Home. Here you will embark on a desperate mission through the depths of a wasteland ravaged by war. Your goal is to guide Czechoslovak soldiers back to home on board an armored train. But the path ahead is fraught with peril. Caught in the middle of a brutal civil war between Russia's red and white armies, your unit must remain in fighting shape, managing what little resources you have and maintaining morale at all costs. Venture through the bleak and unforgiving landscape of Siberia, where the freezing cold and the merciless environment will push you to your very limit. Resources are scarce and your crew is exhausted, but you must never give up. All my life I rode made in Czechoslovakia trolleybuses in Vilnius. Some of them are still riding in the streets. They are like 50 years old and they still run. So one thing I'm completely sure about these guys: everything that's made in Czechoslovakia is unbreakable, except the country itself. What an irony. Sea of Thieves. Are you ready to become most notorious pirate in the world, take hostages and pillage ships for incredible wealth? That is great. If so, you can also try this game and treat it like a pirate simulator for your upcoming life of crime. So here you will explore a vast world filled with unspoiled islands and underwater kingdoms. Take on adventures to hunt for lost loot, forge a reputation with the trading companies, and battle various foes. From phantoms and ocean crawlers to megalodons and the mighty Kraken itself. And you know, after you kill the beast, keep in mind that Krakens are very tasty with hot potatoes and lemon. Also here, obviously, you can try your hand at fishing, make maps to your own buried treasure, or choose from hundreds of other optional goals and side quests. And the game itself is not a short one. The estimated time to complete all 60 Sea of Thieves achievements is about 1000 hours. Make sure you have a lot of free time before buying. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition. By player count on Steam, it holds 46th place among all the games. That shows how huge and popular this game is. There is no doubt that Skyrim is a masterpiece of open-world games, and in my opinion it was decrowned from the throne of the best game in the field only by the third Witcher. By now it is of course a bit outdated, but it still lets you dive into a huge fantasy world and explore incredible places. Skyrim is single player only. There is no bullshit of other players invading your game like in Elden Ring, no other gamers walking around like in Diablo 4 when you just try to to accomplish single-player campaign, here you are alone, and everything is done for your personal pleasure. You can become a warrior, mage, assassin, or drug addict. You know, it's up to you. Skyrim is like a great book where you are the main protagonist. Superhero to be fair, but the lore is super deep. Stories, especially for guild quests, are great, and if you never played it, just do it. Alien Isolation. Here you are all alone in a giant space station and a xenomorph is hunting you. You have no guns, you are the prey, but despite the fact that you are a woman, your balls are way bigger than some men have, definitely bigger than mine. So you are being hunted by a creature of nightmares, smart, stealthy and built to kill. Sometimes it can take an hour without an encounter, sometimes you can feel it creeping upon you in the vents, sometimes you can hear it, and sometimes you just die because a xenomorph is not some usual monster. It's terrifying. Really terrifying. The feeling when you see him launching at you from a distance will put your heart into your heels. It looks and moves in a way which somehow invokes the primal fear in your brain. To play this game you will have to have huge and hairy mental balls, because with time you may get used to the alien, you may get used to hiding and even to jump scares, but when the game guides you to the alien nest, and it's the only way to go, you will only wish that you had not 2 balls, but at least 4, or more likely 7. Yeah, 7 is good number. Outward Definitive Edition. This is an open-world survival game with Souls-like combat mechanics. In this edition you will find both DLCs, new weapons, dungeons and also several life quality improvements. The game has only a mostly positive review score on Steam, but it doesn't do the justice. Most people who are giving a dislike spend 40 to 60 hours in game, and that honestly looks like some kind of masochism. If you don't like the game, just don't play it. Like Warren Buffett once said, always take the easy road and you will get there first. Anyway, Outward is like Skyrim and Dark Souls had a weird hybrid baby, and instead of abortion, this time they decided to keep it. If you like both games, why not? Outward has some problems, but in general it is a nice game. Beautiful Desolation. I can honestly say that this is one of the coolest games I have ever played. It may sound silly because this is actually a point-and-click game, but it was made so well I was very impressed during my playthrough, and I still am. They wanted to create something original, something different and never seen before, and I can clearly say that they succeeded. I promise you that story-wise you never played anything like that. The whole game feels like some that surrealistic sci-fi dream of Carl Sagan, with weird characters, weird conversations and weird atmosphere in general that somehow still makes sense. If you ever read anything by Philip K. Dick, you will understand what I'm talking about. And this game is pure art, but it's hard. It won't guide you by a hand or penis, and puzzles you have to solve are no joke. So prepare to be mentally humiliated and deal with the fact that your IQ is not as high as you think it is. Marvel's Midnight Suns. You will become the Hunter, the first fully customizable original hero in the Marvel universe. You can personalize your appearance, choose your reactions to situations, and build friendships with other Marvel characters spanning the Avengers, X-Men, Runaways, and so on. Like in many similar games, you will decide who to take with you on missions, which missions to embark on, and a host of other options to make this a unique experience. The game is made by the creators of the legendary XCOM series, so there is no surprise that the game has a very positive review score on Steam and is appreciated by Marvel fans and by turn-based lovers as well. For example, I liked superhero movies, but when they started to make like 7 of them every year, I stopped watching, and I have no idea who half of these superheroes in this game are. Elden Ring. The game is balanced for those who like Souls-like games, but it is possible to play for people without masochistic tendencies as well. The game is a bit easier than Dark Souls, but just keep in mind that despite that, it is really challenging and you will be dying all the time. Although this time it's an open world and you can go wherever you want. And the game doesn't hold your hand or penis, so you are free to go and explore various places. You may ask, how to know where to go then? Well, you will know, believe me. If you put your nose in the wrong area, you will die a little bit quicker than in other places. Anyway, the world is beautiful, enemies are really original, and you may not have a lot of fun here, but the atmosphere of the game will forever stay with you. Elden Ring is not something you can easily forget about. Verdun. The game takes place on the Western Front in one of the bloodiest conflicts in world history, inspired by the famous Battle of Verdun in 1916. So the game is the first-person shooter multiplayer set in a realistic setting of the First World War. The vicious close-quarters nature of trench warfare means that skill with a bayonet can be as vital as good aim with a rifle, so prepare for some melee action as well. The game offers 4 modes with many historically accurate features, such as realistic First World War weaponry, authentic uniforms, horrendous gore, and maps based on the real battlefields of France and Belgium. People on Steam are saying that the game is criminally underrated. So if you are thirsty not only for beer but for blood as well, this may be your spoon of potato salad.
Wait, what?
I don't know, man, sounded cool in my head. Nioh Complete Edition. This game, as you probably already know, is a third-person Souls-like action RPG. You play as a lone traveler in the age of samurai who lands on the shores of Japan. You must fight your way through the vicious warriors and supernatural creatures that infest the land in order to reach your destination. The Complete Edition contains the full game and 3 expansions with additional story chapters. People are jokingly saying that in this game you are Vibu Geralt, and as with the Witcher game, you just have to play Nioh with a gamepad.
Or you will suffer even more.
Yeah, the game is Souls-like, remember? By the way, in 2021 Nioh Complete Edition was free on Epic, so you might have it already if you were used to taking free goodies from there. Pumpkin Jack. With more than 90% of positive review score on Steam, this hack-and-slash adventure platformer should grab your attention by its balls.
Wait, what?
Shut up. Here you'll travel across dangerous landscapes in levels featuring alluring atmospheres, each crafted with vibrant color palettes and cool lighting effects. Here you must master the art of combo attacks, learn dodging and timing to survive dynamic real-time battles. You will unlock powerful weapons and solve puzzles that focus on physics. Use your flaming head to burn books, hammer some moles, and create pathways for magic spheres as each level introduces new challenges. You'll also find helpful companions to assist you on your journey, including an owl to guide you along, and a crow itching to assist you with long-range attacks. This game is meant for pure entertainment. Great visuals, interesting storyline, and dynamic battles await you here. Also, the humor is quite nice as well. 8-bit Invaders. Remember all the Lovecraftian movies where bodies are merging with each other? You know, like The Thing, The Fly, or Annihilation with Natalie Portman. So if StarCraft and Minecraft were protagonists in such a Lovecraftian movie, 8-bit Invaders would be their merging result. See, you can always think of something better than just a cliché about
If StarCraft and Minecraft had a baby.
So this is a fast-paced RTS, a very colorful strategy arcade game that it's easy to learn for players of all skill levels. Collect resources, build up and defend your base, amass your army of tanks and starships, and ultimately crush humans with your metal tentacles, or show aliens who's the boss here. You'll find 24 campaign missions, 10 co-op missions to play with your mother-in-law, destructible environments, and you know who the composer is? Frank Klepacki, the same dude who created music for Command & Conquer 27 years ago, when he was 17. Yeah, I will keep repeating this fact. And if you feel that this 8-bit setting is appealing to you, keep in mind that you can also find 2 more games, 8-bit armies that are made with the fans of Command & Conquer in mind, and 8-bit hordes that can be appealing to Warcraft fans. Postal. Brain damaged. In this boomer shooter spin-off of the Postal franchise, things are about to get weird. Everything happens in your brain, and that brain is not a healthy one by any means. Overwhelmingly positive reviews left by thousands of players say to us that the idea and the execution here is flawless. In-game you will encounter fast and challenging enemies and diverse environments. Also, you will enjoy crude humor, nicely presented gore, and fantasy violence. Anyway, people on Steam are saying that this is a great game with fantastic art and super entertaining gameplay. Absolute gem and a must-play. Remember Me. This is an action-adventure where you will take on a role of a former elite memory hunter with the ability to break into people's minds and steal or even alter their memories. What is more cyberpunk than that, huh? So the authorities, fearful of your knowledge and capabilities, arrested you and wiped your memory clean. After the escape from prison, you set out on a mission to recover your identity. This search for the past will lead you to being hunted by the very people that created this surveillance society. The action is set in a Paris of the future, so get ready for a very cool environment. People are saying that the game has an interesting story, and even if it's a bit older, graphics are still kinda decent. Northgard. This is an RTS game based on Norse mythology in which you play as a clan of Vikings vying for the control of Mysterio's newfound continent. In this simple strategy game you will find lots of victory conditions, atmospheric music, changing seasons, and, as you can see, pretty nice art design. Also, the game has a decent campaign with a pretty good story. Sadly, as I've mentioned many times before, Northgard's AI is cheating with infinite resources and manpower, meaning that developers couldn't create really good intelligence that could win against humans on its own. Well, I know that many strategy games do not have strong AIs, but they at least try. But you never know, maybe developers were AI geniuses, but they were afraid of accidentally making Skynet. You know, being accused of making a bad AI is one thing, but being responsible for a robot uprising that destroyed human civilization? Yeah, you know, better safe than sorry. Nevertheless, Northgard is a good RTS game for a few days, or maybe more. Maybe you will fall in love with it, you know, like tapeworm falls in love with your guts. Severed Steel. Here you will play as a woman named Steel. You have a prosthetic arm and you use it to navigate the levels, which adds an interesting and unique element to the gameplay. And although Steel has no arm, she's not armless, if you know what I mean. Honestly, here you'll find a huge arsenal of arms, just not arms. The game's physics engine can be a little bit wild at times, which makes for some hilarious moments when enemies get flung around like ragdolls. And with a killer soundtrack that perfectly matches the game's pace, Severed Steel is really fun to play. Whether you are a hardcore FPS fan or just looking for a casual game, I think it's worth your time. It has more than 90% of positive reviews on Steam, and that is always a proof of a good game. The Bloodline. This is an open-world fantasy action RPG where you will take on the role of a descendant of a magical lineage. You are gifted the power of foresight by an ancient god to protect the world from evil. Here the adventure is yours. You will follow quest lines to help the people or roam the world freely at your own pace, allowing organic opportunities or organic deaths to arise. You will reform bonds between kingdoms, construct a village and prepare the world for the return of evil stuff. Just like in the Elder Scrolls games, here you will explore the world, join various guilds, hunt magical creatures, or become a bard at the local tavern. The game doesn't hold your hand or penis, you can enjoy and experience it in any way you desire. Iron Marines. Well, it's hard to introduce this game somehow differently than as a flat 2D StarCraft, and you know what? It's great! The art style may look very familiar to some of you because the game is made by the same developers of Kingdom Rush, as I always say, one of the best tower defense games ever made. So here you'll recruit and train the greatest heroes in the galaxy, lead them into dangerous missions against near impossible odds and unleash their mighty powers and abilities. In short, you will get 21 campaign missions across 3 different worlds, and each mission will require new tactics and actions to achieve victory. You will have to defeat unique bosses and control 14 different heroes. Game allows you to choose from several difficulty modes, meaning that it can be enjoyed either by noobs or by veterans of the genre. Game is quite funny, filled with Easter eggs and more than 70 achievements for you to unlock. People on Steam are saying that if you want to play something like StarCraft but don't want to fry your brain while doing that, Iron Marines is the next best thing. Game has a very positive review score, so this may very well be what you were looking for after all. Blood West. This is a surprisingly original first-person stealth shooter, a mix of Western and Lovecraftian horrors. You'll become the undead gunslinger, doomed to roam the barren lands until you find the means to purge the curse and free your soul. You'll be wandering through the canyons, creepy swamps and lonely mountains. Well, only the mountains will be lonely. You won't be. Sounds of different monsters will keep you company at all times. It will take you over 20 hours on average to casually complete all 3 scenarios. People on Steam are naming this game a hidden gem, a hardcore, brutal, unholy blood diamond to be exact, although many are dissatisfied with the 3rd act.
Not as good as those 2 before,
they say. Tropico 6. This is a strategy city builder sim. You'll become a mighty dictator or a peace-loving statesman. You will shape the fate of your very own country, mostly by building cities. Of course, you will also raid foreign lands to steal their wonders and monuments. There is no surprise that here will be a lot of politics. You will have to balance between political parties to keep everyone happy, or you might be invaded or rebelled upon. The learning curve of this game is quite steep, that is if you never played a city builder before. Even if you played, it can be quite painful to that tiny organ in between your ears, although the game has a tutorial where you can learn all the game basics, so don't worry. Well, honestly, worry. Crashlands. In this open-world survival crafting game, you are a galactic trucker whose latest shipment gets derailed, leaving you stranded on an alien planet. As you hustle to get back your packages, you'll become involved in a nefarious plot of world domination, which will require all of your wits to overcome. Here you'll learn recipes from the local sentient life, make new friends, uncover ancient secrets, and fight deadly bosses. You can also tame everything and build yourself a home away from home as you learn to thrive in this unforgiving world. People on Steam are saying that the game is entertaining with funny dialogue and challenging combat. Almost 90% of the reviews are positive.
And now thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.